Well, I'm going to start now. Today may be a long stream, so I'm not entirely certain how long it's going to take me. And like I said before, my name is Diego Lizarazo. This is Game Dev Adventures. And today, basically, I'm going to try to show you how you can publish your game in the Windows Store. I'm going to use a Construct 2 game because that's what we have been checking right now in this stream. But the process is quite similar to what we would have in a Caucus 2D, Construct, well, basically any JavaScript game, almost anything that you think you can publish. Quite likely you're going to be able to follow the same process. So that's something that I just wanted to let you know, and I'm going to point the differences if there are any at any point during the process. But yeah, I just wanted to start this, and it may take us a little longer than some of the other streams that I've made before, but it's going to be quite worthwhile. So the first thing, let me go to my browser. Here, yes, I already had it there, the Dev Center. So really let me get to this address to show you. So the first thing, of course, I got the wrong address. Dev Center. Let's say develop. This is really the one that I want. So well, the first thing is that you should go to the Dev Center, and you see it here. That is going to be, well, you can search for it too, but since we're doing new things here, I'm going to go to this notes for Twitch. And I'm going to make it a little bigger. You just can, well, go for and well, look for it also in Bing, I guess. If you want Windows Store, Dev account, and this one really would be. The thing is that I'm already in the system, so I'm not entirely certain if it's going to already redirect me to my own account. But well, you can get the idea. So I'm going to completely skip the part of creating a store account because that's something that I already have, and that's not really, you see, it already took me to my own account. So let me try to open an in private browsing and try to get it. Okay, so this is really the one that you should get, but still you can just go for appdevmicrosoft.com. That is what we had over here, especially. This is the part that is really important, and you can open an account right there. So how much do you have to pay if you want to create your account? It really depends. If you're a student, you can open it basically for free. You just have to go for DreamSpark, and well, if you are already an MSDN user, you also can get it for free. So DreamSpark, like, actually ask your teachers if you have access to DreamSpark, and then you should be able to have access for free. If not, if you're an independent developer and you have to create, well, to pay for your own account, then how much do you have to pay? I think it's $20, and it's a live account, so you can publish for Windows Phone and Windows, and you're going to be registered, and after that you just basically can put all the games and apps that you want. Okay? So I already did that part, and perhaps at some point I'm going to try to emulate the process that you have to follow. Right now it's quite simple, quite like at some point they're going to ask you for a credit card. If you're a student, don't worry, they are not going to charge you anything. It's just for identification purposes. They need to do that. We are not doing that match with your ID ourselves. What we're trying to do is like, well, the credit card companies, they already have all that figured out, so they do that for us. And the first time you're going to get to the dashboard in your Dev Center, and you're going to have something here that says submit an app. In this case, I already have many apps, so I already have that here, like some of the apps that I have published, and some of the projects that I want to create. You can see that I've reserved some names, and this one is the best one, my mega cool awesome app. I'm going to create something similar for you guys today. And the entire idea is that I'm going to try to do all the steps, or almost all the steps that you have to do to publish the game today. So I'm going to start with the construct 2, and I'm going to cheat in several steps, because the entire purpose is to publish, not really to create a full game or anything like that. That's something that I'm going to do in other streams. So today what I'm going to do is to pick one of the templates that we have here, and let's say quite likely it's going to be rejected, so I'm just going to go for a platformer, something that many of you have already checked before, that quite likely you have tried, and I'm going to show you the game. It's nothing complicated, it comes with Construct 2, and it's just a small platformer, and that's it. So I would not count this as a full game because it's missing lots of things. It only has one level, and also it does not have any intro screen. But hey, what I do need is to just create a project to be able to upload to the store. Okay, so I'm going to use this one, and you saw that I didn't create anything new. It's just how it is. Now, the other things that you have to do is, this one is obviously just for Construct 2. It could be something similar in other platforms, but in this particular one, it's just about publishing. So I'm just going to do it with Construct 2. Like I said, perhaps in the future I will do another one with Cocos 2D. But one of the things that you have here is that you have to specify the name. If you just leave it as new project, quite likely you're going to have a problem. So I'm just going to say my Twitch platform, and that's going to be the name of my game. Obviously, this is quite unlikely that I'm going to have a really successful game named that. So, but I also quite unlikely that there's anything like this name in the store. Now, the other thing that you have to do is to change the version here. The version that we use in the Windows Store, it has 4 numbers, so I'm going to do it something like this. 4 digits, I'm sorry. So 1000. Description, you have to put something, and then I'm going to say my Twitch tutorial. ID, I can leave it open, but well, I could just use the one that I usually use. That is the same name that I'm using for my Twitch channel. Authored, also the same thing. So those things, you just have to fill them here in your project. So you just have to click on the project and then go to the properties and put it there. I'm just going to put it here. Also, I don't think I need all of this, but hey, I'm just going to fill them all up since I'm here. I think the one that it's really important that I feel are the name, the version, and some sort of description. Those 3 should get me going, but hey, I'm going to just do it like this. Now, if you were creating something with Cocos 2D, or if you were creating something with other platform, quite likely you are already using your IDE. Quite likely you already have open Visual Studio, or you are already using any other IDE that is over there. With Construct 2, we do most of our work here inside Construct, but then we have to export this project. We have to submit it to the store. So what I'm going to do here is do the export. So export project. In this case, I'm going to go for Windows Store, and I'm going to say next. So I'm going to just, you can change the name or where you're going to fill it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to say export, and here you have some options. And if you just want to aim for one of the Windows versions or one for Windows Phone, I'm going to go for Windows Universal because it's quite cool and it's going to be more aligned with what we're expecting in Windows 10. So I'm going to go for this one, export. It takes 1 or 2 minutes depending on the project. In this case, it was really fast. So you have something like that. Now, when I open the folder, you see this little file here that is .sln, that's a solution. If you have not installed Visual Studio, then you should do it because you may need it. And I'm just going to suggest to do go to visualstudio.com and you can download immediately the version that you want. This part, again, I'm not going to do it because I already have it installed, and actually Visual Studio is a really big program, so it could take, depending on your network connectivity, could take a few hours. So this is something that I would recommend to do before you're in the process of publishing. And also, I would tell you, let me see if it shows me that here. Oh, well, I'll cancel. That you also can download the community version. That's the one that you are recommending right now, and well, you can go from there. Now, after you have installed Visual Studio, you should be able just to double click in your solution, and it will open your program and it will open your project. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here, and then I'm going to do a couple of things before I try to go on the other side. So things that I would like to show you. I'm going to, if this is the first time that you work with Visual Studio, perhaps you have a few things that are different, but this is the general idea. You always have the Solution Explorer. You can hide it, but most likely by default it's going to be here. And this is where you can go and check the files that you have included in your project. And in this case, I have 3 main projects that I have in this solution. One is for Windows 8, one is for Windows Phone, and the other one is the logic that is shared between the two of them. So right now, the thing is that you can create games for both of them, and you can go and tweak the interface in each one of them. Here in the shared project, you have the logic that is going to be shared. So it's the same logic between the two games in this particular case, but well, you can do more than that. If you haven't noticed before, Visual Studio, Construct 2 create games with HTML5 and JavaScript. So here you can directly try to modify your JavaScript. If you have a lot of experience with that, well, by all means, just try to do the twitches and tweaking that you want. If you are not experienced with programming, then perhaps this is not the best option, but well, you are free to do as you please. The other thing that I'm going to point is that here we have the icons that come directly with Visual Studio, with Construct 2 for a project. So those are standard icons. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. Quite likely, if I try to upload the game like this, it's going to give me an error. It's going to say like, hey, this is just a standard icon. So I kind of cheated for this video because it could take me a long time to do things. And I already had some icons that I created for another project that I think it's unpublished. So well, I'm going to use it later. So the thing is that I can go here again on my project, my folders, and I can look for those icons. So right now, I think they're going to be in the shared. Yes, so here in the shared folder, you have these icons that were created with by Construct 2. So I don't want those. I want the ones that I already know here. I already even renamed them to what I needed. So I'm just going to copy and replace here, replace all of them. And you see that now they have my little leprechaun. This is a project that I wanted to publish, and I was not successful to publish for St. Patrick's Day. The other one is the loading logo. So I'm going to copy it here, replace. So this is something that in any store for your app you will have to do. You have to create icons for your app. That's what's going to appear on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, whatever it's going to be. So and of course that's a great opportunity for you to separate your game from other games. So if you create a really cool icon, quite likely more people are going to download your games, and well, it's highly recommended that you basically put the things that you have. So again, the other thing that I am going to change immediately is I went to the Windows folder, and I have this one that are images, and you see that I have logo, small logo, splash screen, store logo. I already have those created here. So where are they? I don't have them. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So I am just going to do something bad, and I'm going to edit them right in front of you. It's going to take me just a minute. I'm going to use paint.net, and I just don't want to have the main version basically that we have here. So I'm just going to reuse some of the images that I have here in my game. So let's try to use this one, and I'm just going to stick it on top of it, add layer. So that's it. That's what I'm going to do, and it's going to be a really bad logo, but the entire point for me was not to create a nice logo. It was just to submit it. So that's going to be okay. Let me see. I want. Oh, well, actually, I can just say save. No, but PNG. I think it was PNG. Yes, this is what I want. And I'm going to modify the other 3 that I have here. So please, a little bit of patience. This is something that you will have to do yourself too. So what size is this one? I think I can 30 by 30. I already have something that is 30 by 30. I have one that is 32, so I'm just going to put this one on top. Add layer, and I'm going to save. PNG. Yes. So I have 2 down and 2 to go. Oh, well, PND. Yeah, this one I don't need it. Let me see preview. Damaged. Oh, too large. Okay, well, so splash screen. I should have a splash screen. I don't have a splash screen. I thought that I had all copies for all of them. Well, let's see if I get any problems with this. So the part that I understand is why these ones were damaged. So let me see again. Okay, so actually there was an error. Okay. So, and I don't remember the sizes of these two. Well, I'm going to continue, and then if we have an error, quite likely it's going to be related to this one, but at least I'm going to show you everything else. So the point is that you should be able to modify also these 4 and just keep the same sizes so you don't miss that part, and put whatever you want for your logo, small logo, store logo, etc., etc. So let's see if I don't have problems with that. Anyway, back again to Visual Studio. If I want to test my Windows 8 game, I just can press here, local machine. Okay, of course. So it's getting me an error, and that one, unfortunately, is quite easy to fix. And this is something that you still have to do. So you open your folder for Windows 8, and you have to look for the package manifest. So double click on that. It's going to load, and it's going to show you that, well, there are two errors. So I have one error that it has to do with the images here. So this is the store logo. So that's the one that I basically ruined. So paint.net. So that's the one that I'll have to create. So I'm going to recreate it really fast. Well, actually I should have done this. So this one, open with paint.net, and I am going to resize it to 150. Yes, and then I'm going to go here, the logo, I'm going to destroy it, and it has to be just called logo. Save as, and I want it in this location, and it's going to be called logo.png. Logo.png. Yes, so now this time it should work. So this time it worked. Small logo, I don't remember exactly what is the size of this one. Let's see. Okay, this one appears correctly. So I have, okay, logo, so 30 by 30. So I don't have anything. Okay, so this one had to be 30 by 30, and it's called a small logo. So let's do that. I'm going to say this one, resize it 30 by 30, and I'm going to save it as small logo dot png. Okay. And now let's see, Visual Studio is able to recognize it. I don't have any errors here. And now really the part that I wanted to do, that is the packaging. So this part, I had to do it because I messed it up with the logo, so sorry about that. So here, with the packaging, you need a certificate. So that certificate is basically just to let the store tell that you are the person that is going to be uploading here. So let's suppose that I don't want to do that right now. I just want to test my game. That's what I'm going to do. So you just can say here, choose certificate. Then click down here and create a test certificate. So I'm going to say yes, okay, okay. And then you don't have any errors, and you should be able to run your game and see it on your computer. It's going to look kind of bad because I didn't really do much to fix the game, but hey, it's still here. Oops, I die. And you see that it's working without much of a problem. So that works. So the game kind of works at this point. So at this point, usually what I do, since I have most of what I need on this side working, what I go and do is to go to my dashboard and to try to create a game. So I'm going to say submit an app. And I'm going to be using the name that I put here, my Twitch platform, which is an awful name, but hey, it works. So when you're submitting an app in general, in this case is a game, for the Windows Store, it shows you the steps that you have to follow. And it kind of tells you the amount of time that you are going to spend on each one of them. Of course, these two that are 30 minutes and 30 minutes, those are the most complicated ones, but I'm going to try to make them much faster than that. I am going to show you step by step, and I'm going to make comments, but I'll try to keep it fast. So first, app name. In the Windows Store, unlike other stores, you need to reserve a unique name. So you cannot have something that is called Angry Birds, because that has already been reserved by a certain company. You cannot have something called, I don't know, Bing or Microsoft Game, because quite likely you are, well, using or misusing the name. In this case, that's why I'm creating something that I'm almost likely does not exist on the store. That's my Twitch platform. And you have a year to use that name. Okay, and you can reserve different names for the same app in case that you're making different language version for that app. So here I could say mi plataforma Twitch in Spanish, or whatever I want. So in this case I'm just going to say save. So first step is quite simple. Hopefully you already have a name for your app. If not, well, you're going to be forced to look for one here. Now, selling details. This is where you tell the store how much you're going to charge for your game. In this case, I'm just going to say that it's free, but you can tell that you have many options here. So try to sell something for $999. It's up to you. If you have a paid version, let's say something like that, you can also set a trial period. And then is going to give the opportunity to the players to download it and say, hey, I'm just going to be able to play it for 1 day, 2 days, or I don't know, whenever you say. But in this case, I'm just going to say free. Other thing that I'm going to point is, like, you can tell that you're charging in US dollars, but it's going to convert on how much it's going to charge in each one of the stores. So in this case, I'm just going to say free, and I'm going to say select all of them, all my markets. Okay, you can decide which ones you want to sell. If you taste that you don't want to sell them everywhere. Usually, I exclude a couple of countries just because they do ask for age and certificate, and I'm not really like. Usually these are templates, and I'm not really willing to do that. Now, release date. You have two options. You can say release my app as soon as it passes certification. That is just what I said. Or you can decide to say that it's not going to be published no sooner than this time. You have a general idea of when during that day you want to do it. So let's say that I pick this and you have some options and want to do it. So when is this useful? Usually when you want to do a marketing release, a marketing that goes hand in hand with your game. So you want to put a lot of people that are going to say like, hey, at midnight I'm going to release my game and start downloading, so you can specify that. Usually you do this, give it some days in advance to make certain that your game is already ready in the store, that it has passed certification, everything else. So don't do this option unless you know that everything is going to work. But in this case, since it's an example, I'm just going to go for this. Category, then you have to pick something for your game, for, in this case, well, games, but if it's another kind of app, you have to pick it here. And then you pick a subcategory that is going to make people have an easier time to find your game in the store. So in this case, I'm just going to say, I don't know, that is a strategy, just because I want to. There are other options here, but usually those are needed in case that you have specific requirements. So check them if you know what you're doing. If not, I would just leave them as that, and I'm just going to say save. In this step, basically, you just tell me where I'm going to sell my game and how much I'm going to charge for it. Services. This one is really simple if it's a tutorial like this one. And this one has to do with Microsoft Azure, if you have some sort of connection with cloud computing, or if you have other things, other like products that you have there, like in-app offers. Let's say that I have a game that is giving me, that is going to charge me for new levels, so you will have to create that here. Since this is a tutorial and I'm not going to go for that part, I'm just going to say save. Now, the next step, age rating and rating certificates. This is where sometimes I exclude some countries. So the first thing, you have to let the store and all the gamers like what kind of game you're trying to submit here. So in this case, since it's something really simple, I'm going to say that it's 3+. Kids as young as 3 can play my game. I don't have any kind of violence. I don't have any kind of problem that should like stop me from publishing my game in any store. The problem comes for some countries, these four, that by law required some sort of like age certificate just to make certain that you are not lying. So in this case, I'm not going to upload anything, but you have some links here that help you to figure out what kind of certificate you have to upload and where you have to do it. So this is where you would do it. That is basically a file that says that your game complies with what you're saying. So in this case, I'm just going to say 3+, and that's it. Cryptography. For our game, this is basically, I'm just going to say like, no, I don't have cryptography, and yes, I confirm that I don't have cryptography. This really is for apps, okay, I did something. For apps that may have some sort of like encrypted information that is being sent over the internet. So, especially in the US, that's something that that is required to let your users know that you are going to have this. But since this is a simple game, I'm not collecting information of the user, I'm not doing anything weird, I'm just going to say save. At this point, you should have the next step, that is the packages, open for you. So before, this one was disabled. This one says that it takes 30 minutes, but here really the only thing that you have to do is to drop a file. The really complicated part is to get that file that is your game ready. So that's when we go back to Visual Studio. So when we're here and you right click on your project, on a Windows project, you have an option that says Store, and you have three options. First, you can associate the app with the store. You can capture screenshots, and you can create your app packages. This is the one that we need for this step that we are following right now. But we're going to do one of the other ones first. So right-click, Store, and at first I'm going to associate my app with the store. This is just basically to say like, hey, the package that I'm creating, I'm going to tell you which game I'm creating. So when it's in the store, well, the store basically knows which is which. It's kind of like signing your masterwork. So in this case, I'm going to say yes. Quite likely it's going to ask yes for my account. So I'm going to log in. And this part, I haven't thought about it so nicely. And it has to do with the fact that it's going to ask me for a two-step verification. So it's going to take a couple of additional minutes. So I'm going to have my password, which I forgot. Okay, so I have it here. Since this is going to take a couple of seconds, I am going to stop the stream before I do everything else. Okay? And now, since I already received the code that I wanted here, I am going to associate my game with what I created, that it should be called my Twitch platform game. Okay? So I'm just going to say next. And here you can tell that this information is going to appear in your package, and in this case it's going to sign it with my information and my publisher ID and some other information, like includes the name and everything else. So I'm just going to say yes, I'm going to associate that, and it's ready. And at this point I can create a package. So I'm going to say store, create app packages. So right now I'm running Windows 10, so I'm not entirely certain that if I can go for the WAC. Let's see if I updated everything else. But well, I'm going to just do it. I'm going to say yes. Next, it's going to try to ask you to sign up again, If I hadn't done the previous step, I would have to sign in, but in this case it's saying like, yeah, it's going to go for this game. I'm going to copy this folder here because that's where everything's going to be located. So in a second, as soon as I say yes, so it's building my program. It's already created, so I should have it here. So it's here, so this is the file that I'm looking for. And then the other thing that it's going to tell you is that if you want to launch the Windows App Certification Kit, the WAC. So last time that I tried to do this in this computer, since like I said, I'm using Windows 10 and I have the preview version of Windows 10, the WAC was not working. I think I should be using Visual Studio 2015 to be able to do this. So I'm going to try to do it, but I would not be surprised if it's going to give me an error. So I'm going to say yes. And this is the error that I was expecting. So right now, I don't have the right version to follow the WAC. So what is the WAC? Basically, it's I had it running correctly, I would be able to run this game. It's going to be run automatically, and it's going to check for many things that usually kind of derail the certification process for an app. It's going to check for errors before you submit it. So you should do that all the time because you're going to avoid a lot of problems, a lot of issues that may come later in the certification process. Since this is an example, I don't care. I'm just going to use the package that I created here. And the entire thing that you have to do is just to drag it. So you have this file that says whatever name you created to your game and some information that is Windows or Windows Phone, and then you have .appx upload. So that's your application upload. So it has your entire game there. And you just drag it and drop it here. Or you just can click here and browse the files. So it's going to take a couple of minutes to upload the file. It's going to do some really simple checks to see if your package looks okay, if it has any resemblance to what the store is expecting. And if everything goes okay, then you can just say save and go to the next step. So let's wait a couple of minutes. Hopefully it will work. So let's see. Come on. It's taking some time to load it and to check everything else. Oh, I don't know if with the stream this is going to affect it a little bit, since I'm sending the best quality of video that I have on top of the game. So well, I'll wait for a second and see how it goes. If not, I'll stop the stream and let it upload and then continue the stream just to show you what it says. It's taking its time. So I'm going to stop the stream for a second until it's able to upload, and at that point you should have the file here. So let's see, if not, I'll retry it before I continue the stream. So give me 1 second. And of course, almost immediately as I stopped the stream, it was able to upload the file, and now you can see that it was uploaded here. So it was affecting my internet connection there. But well, let's say save. Let's see if yes, just checking if my streaming was okay. And now let's go for the last few steps. Really, this is the big one, description. So in the description, you are going to be able to put a full description and that people read on the store, and hopefully this is something that attracts people. You know, it's not just going to say like, this is a bad game. Hopefully say something interesting. But well, you can put whatever you want. And the other important part here has to do with the screenshots. Usually you should put several screenshots of your game. It's required at least one. I usually put at least 3 just to make certain that people see it and they have an idea of what they may be downloading at a time. So I already have some that are created here. I'm just going to use the same ones. I'm not going to go for anything original. And it's going to be a screenshot. I don't remember which is which. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is not an image that I have running correctly. Okay, so at this point you could create your own screenshots, or the other thing is to try to use the store capture screenshot capability that you have in Visual Studio. So I'm going to try to do that and take 2 screenshots and try to use those. So let's see if this one works. Like I said, I have a weird combination here of things. If not, I'm just going to create one. Yeah, I was unable to start the simulator. So I'm just going to check the size. So it's telling me that I need images that are 313. So I'm going to create one here. 1366 by 768. So these are supposed to be real screenshots. What I'm going to do is just to create a lame screenshot just to make certain that there's something there. So I'm going to add this layer, and I'm going to say save as whatever, yes, images, and then screenshot.png, and I'm going to say that it is PNG. Yes, and save it, flatten, and then I should have a screenshot. And I think that's in this folder. That is a really lame screenshot, but hey, I just need to upload something here. Okay, you need to put a description, so I'm going to put it here, lame description, and then you can add up to 9 images here. This part with notes usually has to do with the different releases that you're making. So if you are updating your game, you could say like, hey, in this version I'm fixing a bug, I'm adding new levels, I'm adding, well, whatever you think it's right. Now, keywords, you should put there things that you think that people are going to use to search for your game. So like cool game, tutorial, and I don't know, whatever comes to your head. Also, you should put a trademark, that this is a fake one that I put there before. And then these promotional images, you should put something there if your game by any chance is being promoted in the store. It's in one of the lists that you have there, so it's highly recommended that you put it there, but it's not needed. And the other thing that is going to ask you to put there is an email account, so you can be contacted in case that your game is presenting some problems or someone has some sort of complaint. So I'm just going to say save. I don't know if I filled everything else. I think the process is going to tell me. So apparently yes. Of course, I'm not expecting this game to pass certification, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. That has to do with this, notes to testers. Unlike some of the other stores, we do have some testers that check every app that is being released. So there are some things that are tested automatically, and for example, if you submit wrong images, wrong icons, or the information that you're putting there, it's not correct, those things are going to be catched by those automated checks. But the thing is, there are certain things that machines still cannot check automatically. At that point, we're going to have a tester that is going to check, well, your game basically, and to figure out if you are missing something or not. So that's why we have this step that is notes to testers. in case that you need to clarify how to test something, that you need an account, that you need to do X or Y, you can put it here. In this case, I'm just going to put hello, and I'm going to save it. So at this point, I fill all the steps that I needed. I can review my information, or I can just say I'm going to submit it for certification. That's what I'm doing, just to show you. And then here you have several steps that need to pass to make certain that your game is going to be published. I am almost certain that this one is not going to be published, since I just received an email here saying that my game was received by the store, but I just feel things basically with whatever was there. So I'm kind of making someone waste his or her time checking this game, because it does not have an intro page, it does not have a nice gameplay, it does not have many things. So quite likely it's going to pass this pre-processing step that we have here, perhaps the security process, and as soon as it gets to technical compliance and content compliance, it's going to be rejected. If I had done a real game, if I really wanted to publish one of the games that I have published before, I should, well, let's say polish my game, and then it will take me to this process, and you can check it anytime. The big one is this one, content compliance, that you see that it takes up to 5 days. That's really for complex apps that you may submit there, that they may have some sort of content that needs to be checked, just to be certain that you are not violating any copyrights or something weird. That usually doesn't take 5 days. I have had some games that have been certificated like in a couple of hours, especially when I'm talking about updates, and some new games that have been published in 1 day, 1 day and a half at the most. So it's quite quick, and then, well, you are going to have a link for your game that you can publish, well, you can share with your friends, and then they can download it. I may have said that before, but this one was going to be a general idea of the things that you have to do. There's a chance that you may need to spend much more time than what I did coding, polishing your game, especially if you were talking about like another platform like Cocos 2D, or I don't know, even Unity. Quite likely you're going to be coding, not what I just did here. But since this one was a tutorial / example / me fooling around, it was a good example. So after that, I am just going to show you again my information to let you know, like, hey, well, it's awesome that we are doing this kind of videos. Please let me know what you think of them, and well, I don't know, recommend or suggest new subjects that you would like me to cover. I thought that this one was quite interesting, and thank you for checking my stream.